up guys, it's Nick, and today we are gonna talk about something very important, which is having an emergency fund. So I feel like it's such a taboo topic, talking about, being financially ready, being financially comfortable. But at this day and age and this era that we're in, I feel like we need to really talk about finances, because when life happens, when life smacks you in the face, it's really gonna hit your finances whether you like it or not. Today we're gonna talk about just that. Why do you need an emergency fund? Even if you are in your 20s right now, you actually are more than ripe to prepare for an emergency fund, because we all have just in case events in our life, and we are all left with ano na, what's gonna happen next. We need to be financially ready when life just doesn't go our way. We're gonna talk about that, and also I'm gonna share some tips about saving that really helped me along the way to reach my target emergency fund. So if you guys are interested, please keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that red button right now and click the notification bell so you won't miss out on my future videos. Okay, now let's get on to the video. By the way, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not like a financial expert or anything. This is just coming from my own personal experience as an adult in her 20s, that I just want to, share some tips for you guys to reach your financial goals in life, to be financially ready. And I hope that it inspires you, it helps you in some way, even just 1% out there. So, yeah. First off, what is an emergency fund? It's basically being financially ready when things like this happen, when life smacks you in the face and you are faced with things that you still have to pay for, things that you're accounted for, you're responsible for, and basically you need money for that. So what is the target amount that we're looking at for our emergency fund? Of course, it differs per person, but the target goal that we're looking at is at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, or worth your monthly income. So for example, if your living expenses is worth 20,000 a month, then you should save at least 60,000, which is 3 months worth of your living expenses. For me personally, I follow at least 3 months worth of my monthly income. That's just me giving myself a contingency so that I'm beyond my monthly living expenses. Now we go to why in the world do you need to have an emergency fund? Why can't you just YOLO, live life to the fullest, things like that? I mean, honestly, I started working when I was 19, and of course the last thing I want is restrict myself into what I want to buy, things I want to splurge on. I think at the back of my head, I always kept in mind saving. Now that I am 24, turning 25 this year, I finally am able to achieve my 3-month worth of emergency funds. I wanted to say that because it can't be okay, you plan for your emergency fund this year and you expect that you'll be able to do that right away. I feel like realistically, you won't be able to unless you're super going to restrict yourself, yung talagang sobra kang mangungripot, ganyan, which is really hard because we also want to enjoy life and we want to enjoy the hard-earned money that we have. So now, I just want to answer for those people who are wondering why do you need an emergency fund? Because there's certain moments in life that all you can say is, what now? Ano na? What will I do now? And I call those the what now moments, wherein when life hits you and you're like, yeah, that's the face, what now? Ano na te? Ano na girl? Those are the moments that we are first encountering right now, number one, which is when life's out of your control. I believe that there are only 2 types of moments in life. First is things that are in your control that you can make the most out of, because if you work hard, if you put your mind, heart, body, and soul in it, you can achieve it. And second, there are certain moments in life that are just out of your control, that no matter what you do, kahit magulgul ka, kahit magtumbling ka, kahit mag-headstand ka dyan, wala kang magagawa, which is such as right now. We are locked down, we are in quarantine, we need to stay home to prevent this virus from spreading, and it's something that we did not expect 2 months ago. Again, this is out of our control, so we need to be prepared in times like this. I am so fortunate though that I'm able to live in my parents' house during this quarantine, or else I'd be by myself in the condo and trying to get delivery and doing groceries by myself. But either way, I still have things to pay for, you know, as much as possible. I want that to come out of my own pocket, and at the same time, my parents also have certain expenses that they have to take care of, so I also don't want to be like a burden to them. So I just have to think about, no matter what happens, I need to be financially independent. Second, what now moments is when you're suddenly unemployed, and this could happen in moments that you don't expect. Of course, none of us would want to be unemployed when you've gotten used to being employed. I myself, my experience is like transitioning from my previous job to a new job. When you transition to a new job, hindi mo makukuha yung salary mo for 2 months, and that kind of takes a toll on you also. When you're used to you know, money coming in and paying for certain things month on month, and then all of a sudden, medyo tunganga ka, diba? Parang, ano na? What now? And of course, the worst case scenario is that when you're unemployed for a longer period of time and you need to, you know, have some backup emergency money to have with you up until you get the next job so that you can have a more stable income. So things like that, na whether you're transferring to a new job or you're going to be unemployed for a while, you also need to be financially comfortable. Third what now moment is when you finally decide that you want to prepare for a comfortable future. And when you're in your early 20s, you don't really think about what's gonna happen 10 years from now. But one way or another, 10 years from now will come. And of course, eventually you're gonna think about, okay, how am I going to save up for a comfortable future if I want to have a bigger property, if I want to have a family, things like that. And of course, all of those come with a huge amount of expense. All of you guys who are in your early 20s or could be in my same age also, is that the best way to start saving up is to start now. The future is gonna come. The future is gonna hit you in the face and it's gonna ask you, ano na? Ano na ang plano mo? May pera ka ba? May pera ka ba pambayad? You know, and of course, you wanna be like, yeah, I am financially prepared. I've got everything that I need to be comfortable in the life that I wanna live. So those are just some what now moments that most of us, if not all of us, are going to experience in life. And that is why everyone needs to have an emergency fund at some point in their life. Now let's talk about some saving tips. So right now, I mean, we can't really do much online shopping or even go out to the mall, and this is the best way to think about how are we going to save up more after this, not spend a lot more. Me talking to myself. But anyway, I've just gotten used to saving up because I want to and I enjoy it, not because it's such a burden in my life. When I see that I'm able to be disciplined to save up, it gives me some kind of achievement also, some type of fulfillment. So let's get into the saving tips. So one of the things that really helped me is to plan expenses based on your monthly income. I think I've been doing this for the longest time. I don't remember when I started, but I have an Excel sheet of all the breakdown of my expenses and how much money I have left if I subtract it to my monthly income. So based on that, you know, the math doesn't lie. As much as I hate math, honestly, but the numbers don't lie. And when you see that breakdown, it's the reality. Like, you can't deny that, okay, ito na lang titira kong pera, so how am I going to put aside the money that I need for my emergency fund? You know, we have to be realistic. Of course, we can say that, oh, I'm going to, let's say, put aside 20% of my monthly income, pero yung natira sa'yo, 1,000 pesos na lang, so paano ako mabubuhay, diba? If you just break down your expenses, you can really realistically plan towards what is your target money that you can put aside based on your living expenses and your monthly income. So that goes to my second point, which is set aside a fixed amount from your monthly income. So I very much emphasize on fixed amount because when we say na, okay, magtatabi ako kung ano yung kaya ko, kung ano yung meron ako, bahala na. When that happens, it's most likely you are going to forget about it and you're not going to commit to it. So for me personally, in my Excel sheet of expenses, I also put there, okay, what is my my target amount of savings per cutoff per month. When I see that, okay, I really need to put aside that amount for my savings, then I need to lessen my gastos for this or that, for things that I can probably forgo for the month. So I personally slowly was able to save, put aside at least 10 to 15% of my income towards my emergency fund. And of course, your salary changes, so I also had to keep up with that. I didn't want to be complacent and be like, okay, kung ano yung salary ko last 2 years ago, yun ang emergency fund ko. No, because of course, as your income increases, some of the things in your lifestyle also increases. So I really needed to commit that, okay, my emergency fund needs to be worth 3 months of my current salary. Third tip is have a dedicated, untouchable savings account. For me, my emergency fund that I have right now, I put it in a dedicated different savings account. I just make sure that this budget will not be touched at all. If ever I'm gonna get money out of it, it's just for, you know, bank transfers, paying bills, things like that. But I will not get from existing pool of emergency fund. So the good thing about that is when you put your money in a savings account, you earn some interest, very small, but at least a little bit wouldn't hurt anyone. And second of all, at least you can really see the amount in real time, so you can easily check online the status of the current amount that you have. And it just kind of gives you discipline na hindi na mix yung pambayad mo for your daily expenses to your actual savings, because most likely you're gonna get from it, and that's where the trouble starts and you get nowhere. I'm talking from experience here. Fourth tip is make sure that you replenish after those what now moments. So again, there's certain things that are unavoidable that you're gonna have to get from your emergency fund that you've been saving up for, and mababawasan siya one way or another. Like, as I mentioned, when I transitioned from my previous job to my new job, meron akong transition period that I didn't get the salary because of that period, so I had to get from my emergency fund. But soon after, you know, things stabilized in the new job, then I was able to, you know, bring back and replenish those funds from before. So it's not just about using it up and then bahala na, but, you know, just remember to bring it back to how it was before. And last tip, which is also just as important, which is after reaching your emergency fund target, move on to investing. This is a tip that I got from my dad, because my dad is kind of my financial advisor, and this is kind of some tips that I got from him. And he said that, okay, let's say you already have your 3 months or 6 months worth of emergency fund. You don't want to make it 12 months or like worth of 2 years anymore, because that's when it becomes stagnant. Yung pera mo hindi na siya lumalaki. So from the moment that you hit your 6 months worth of emergency fund, then that's when you start looking at, you know, putting it into somewhere else that will earn interest that you can use up to invest. So that's a whole different topic, but for me personally, I do save up for my emergency fund and also have some investments on the side, like stocks, mutual funds, insurance, things like that. But the point of this tip is that don't just be stuck or held up on just saving, because that amount of money could actually be put somewhere else so that you can get even more money as you put them into the right investments. You know, something to think about, because the more you invest, also the more money that can go back to you and the more that you can save up in the long term. Let me know if you guys are interested on that. It's kind of a whole different topic. I'm not an expert on that, but I just know that it's good to have investments besides having savings. So that is that. If you guys are interested to have like a super brief overview of having an emergency fund, I saw this video that's super informative, and it's just like under like 4 minutes or something. I'll link that video down below. Yeah, basically we just wanna aim to be financially comfortable, financially independent when life happens, because life, you know, happens. Duh. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I hope you guys are staying safe, you are protected, you are staying home. Please be safe, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.